I hope that means good afternoon. Uh, so let's begin. So important announcement before we start. This session is for people who can program, and you need to understand that ChatGPT or Gemini is not a programming language, right? So you need to make that clear. I will try to put some gifs or things like that in between, just to make the session a little bit lighter. All right. And also understand this is not AI, right? This is just a nested if statement. All right. So I believe there are very less people. So right now live. So getting feedback online, I will skip that part. Usually, that is how I do. That I have a question. If I ask feedback from people, so I skip that part. Okay. And I believe, guys, help me. Are most of the folks that would be watching this, would they be professionals or would they be students, or is it mix of both?
Okay, both professionals, tech enthusiasts, yeah, mix of both, yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. So I got for both of them then. Okay, thanks. Uh, I'll skip these questions. So basically, these questions help me understand, where I can start and where I can stop in the given time frame. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm founder for Samba Solutions. I have two organizations of my own. I'm very much into generative AI space. Uh, we have few products of our own, and yeah, rest things as was there in my intro. So, and I believe in maybe some things are getting skipped on the bottom. So if you cannot see something on the bottom, I will try to let me reshare this. Part of screen is getting cut out. Yeah, this part is getting cut out. In the were you able to see this part earlier? I think it was cutting out
Yes,
when I
yes,
shared.
yes, yes. We saw it.
Okay, okay. So also, I'm an organizer of GDC Gandhinagar. We just had a one monthly meetup just an half hour back. We had on payments and other things. All right. Yeah, and few other details about me. Okay, I'll just skip this part for now. Okay, so let's dive in with Gemini with Google Sheets, which is one of the easiest way as a developer, no matter if you are a student or if you are a professional, you can start understanding and using it. How to automate small tasks, big tasks, modern workflows, everything. Well, the core components remain the same, right? Why I choose this topic and why I'm speaking majorly on this topic since a year. I even talked about this topic for around 30, 40 talks in just like in a year. It's because I try to focus the tools. Let's say in this talk, we'll focus on the only tools which are free. So Gemini, you can use, anyone can use Gemini Fast API for free. So if you're a student, then guys, you can also follow this, right? You don't need to have a credit card or anything else. You can get an API key and you can start using it. Again, on the Google Sheets part, as we all know, it's also free, right? And we can script on Google Sheets. That's how it is, like almost like an app without creating a web app or something. I'll show you how, and I'll go in more details. But that's the whole concept that I'll try to use anything and everything that you can use today or tomorrow whenever you see this video for free. Okay. Okay. So, and to facilitate you guys to network with each other when you are in offline meetup, you can also use this code. So I have made a code example which I recently used in few dev fests. What it does is it will help you ask questions to the fellow speakers, and you can also customize it in a way to have it for fellow participants, fellow organizers as well. So, okay, like let's use AI for that. Before that, quick question: What I mean, you don't need to answer right now, but what would be the most important or benefit use case of generative AI? Right? The speed of execution, chatbot development, customization, and endnote about creating things humans feasibly can't. Right? There are four important parts. Right? Almost all of this four, I viewed this. Almost all four of this are an actual use case of generative AI. It's not like there's a dummy option, right? But when you are watching this video, pause the video for a moment and think and try to answer yourself. That is it speed of execution, like general in general other models that are there, or the NLP techniques. When I'm saying NLP, it means natural language processing, right? Other NLP techniques or any other AI/ML models, is generative AI speed of execution better than that? Is that the reason, or that's the main benefit or use case? Second is chatbot development, which everyone visualizes about generative AI. Third is customization at EndNote, and fourth is creating things humans feasibly can't. So the answer to that is customization at end node. That's if you want to take anything out of this session, if there's one key phrase, then that's this. Right. Biggest advantage of generative AI, Gemini and other tools, they are part of the generative AI ecosystem. What we mean by customization and EndNote, I will, and why I'm explaining this in this session, I'll also go to that. So before generative AI, we cannot create a web app or an application, Android, iOS, whatever, in which data or resource or anything could be customized at end node. When I say end node, it means at the user level or at the what we say at the end customer level. We can always categorize things, we can always classify things, but that is according to the buckets that we have. When I say buckets, let's say for example, you are creating a fitness app in which user inputs for food and dietary preferences and their lifestyle choices. Earlier, before generative AI, you cannot possibly have everything, every output, every recipe, every workout designed for them, which is customized to them or to the end node, because it's not possible. Regular AI ML algorithms, models, they work on data points. They don't work on subjective things, and you cannot customize that on end node. So that's the biggest power generative AI unlocks. It's not chatbot development. You will see a lot of folks out there, a lot of product owners. If you are professional, you would have seen your management team, your product guys speaking about, let's add AI into our product because we want to raise some funds or do something else. And when you ask them what AI you want to add it, they would say, "Oh, no problem. Go and add a chatbot." That's fine, but that's not the best or the biggest use case. Okay, we'll skip over. Moving to the next section, I'll throw on few QR codes, right? So that you can pause the video, scan that QR code, and note it down, save that URL. So this QR code, right, is of a form. If you scan this QR code, probably since it's a video, you won't be at the time when you will scan this QR code, that form might not be accepting, entries. Right? This is for a live session. So let's say if you scan this QR code, you will see a form something like this. Right? It will have your name, it will have a MCQ or optional question like, are you a student? Yes, no, applicable. Rate your technical knowledge, what field you are currently in or you want to go in, Like, you have multiple checkboxes. Write something about you, what you have learned till now, which path you want to go, like what all projects you have done. Explain as many as you can and in as much details as you want. Since we're using Gemini and in general generative AI, it can get all the subjective details from it without any issue. Then question after this is like GitHub profile, right? LinkedIn profile, Twitter profile, Insta profile. These links are on this. We are not going to process or use some LLM. These links will be for your profile, right? So the end product after filling this form is basically getting a profile which will be automatically hosted, right? You don't need to do anything. Right out of this box, once you fill in this form, you will have a complete profile deployed. Right? Sounds good, right? And if you want to display your email publicly. So you can also see there are many responses over here. This was the last session I did with this code base in a DevFest. So it's their responses. Okay. Coming back. Now this QR, this is the output QR. That is, if you scan this, you will let's scan this. Like or immediately open the link. It will output a Vercel page. Now, what that Vercel page contains, right? Let me show you. Let's say if I scan, let me show you live, right? I will scan this, okay? Open this. It will open a Vercel app which is on premise. You will feel it's empty because there is nothing on the landing page of the because this bit.ly link it will only have the root domain. There is the domain, right? It won't have the slash username part. So I'll open it. If you scan this, you will have something like this open, right? It's a Vercel deployed app. Now, for those of you who don't know what Vercel is, again, it's a tool uh, on which you can freely, like you can sign up for free using your GitLab account, your GitHub account. Once you are signed up for free, let's say you are a developer working in React or in Node. So let's say if you are working in React Node on one stack and you are good with Next.js, right, you can deploy your Next.js app, both front end and back end, on this for free. Of course, there are limitations. Okay? So again, this is again a free tool that you can use there to deploy it to live. That's the same I have used. Right. So here, once you open, why I have just kept this one. So here, the structure of the code is out after the domain, after the root component, if you do slash, and if you put, let's say here in the form, you have put your email ID to be like, abcd at the rate gmail.com, then your abcd at the rate gmail.com, or let's say khaled.duff at gmail.com or joy at gmail.com, just give an example. That would be your username. Right? So let's say if I'm doing Munir Puri, right, and enter it, this is the output, right? I also have a few screenshots. This is the output that you will get, right? Again, the event organizers template. This is something I have created the code, right? So this code purpose is, let's say if you have an offline meetup and there are speakers, you can reuse this code in this community, in any community meetup, in your college meetups events. You just add the speakers and the organizers details in the JSON, and automatically this questions, like for example, if this is the guy, if this is you, right, you have filled this type of form, your profile will be generated like this automatically. You can share this link, to your friends or someone. You can also have photo, etc. And for each speaker, right, it would be his details, LinkedIn, etc. You will have questions that is dependent on this person. So it will take this person's details and this person's details and generate this question. Right. It's very handy tool, right? A very small script. But I'll tell you how you can take this small script as an example and you can extend it to your biggest of projects. Okay, let's go back to slides. Okay, now how it's done, right? That's the most important part. So here are the repositories. You can pause for a second and again take a screenshot or scan the QR code to get the repository. You can start, fork, clone it, do your modifications. Right? You can also PR and ask for suggestions to me. Right? This is one of the repository which contains the Gemini code of Google App Script. Pause the video, take the screenshot or copy the link. What this contains, I also open the link. This is the repo. Right? It's a very small repo. Technically, it's not even a repo. It's more like GitHub gist. I have created the complete overview, readme steps also over here. That generate mentor question, this, whatever I told, what things needed to add, the JSON structure, even the methods that I used, everything is there. Right? And this is the app script code, right, that you will need to add in your Google Sheets. Okay. I'm just giving you a preview. Everything is there publicly or on this URL that you can scan from here. This is the Gemini Google Sheet code. Okay. There's one more QR code. This is the front end part, you can say, in a way. Right. I just wanted to, have it separated. Right. Let's open this one. Let's see what this is. If you okay. All right. So this is you can see the link is also over here. This is the same link which I just showed you. This one. Right? It's the same link. And why you can, I mean, those who are regular programmers, you can understand why directly it is showing like this. Because via Vercel, if you use Vercel, you can directly connect Vercel and your GitHub account or GitLab account to do what we call a CI/CD. Right. I won't go into much details of what CI/CD is, otherwise we will diverge. So the CI/CD is already set up, right? The README is completely well documented that these are the features it has, which versions of Node, etc., etc. Right, where you have to add a Gemini key, right? Google Sheet key, private key, spreadsheet ID, etc. Right. So these are two repos. Now, how to get, how to start this? Let's say you downloaded this code, right? This is the React code. You have that sheet key, right? Now, how to get the API key? So it's also very simple. Just you Google it, Google Gemini API key, or get started with Gemini. If you do that, you will find this document, this website. Open it up, right? Okay, I think there's an issue. Okay, Viragi, you will need to go to the AI Maker Studio space. But if you don't know that, I think this should be the API key from Google AI Studio. Right. This is the place where you will go, and from here you will need to generate. When you click over here, it will open up a model like this. This is that. In that, let's say if you don't have or GCP, that is Google Cloud Project Setup, on that account. Let's say in this account, I have this project set up. So I would be prompted that. So that when I click on this, right, it will give this, right? Search Google Cloud projects. And I have few projects. If you don't have, then you need to first go and create a project. Again, that's also free. Everything I'm showing today in this call is free to use for all of you. Right? If you have a project, you can select any project and you are good to go. Once you click over here, it will create an API key. And this is the project number, these are the API keys. Right? You can copy paste it. Also, those who are here on Google AI Studio for the first time, I will strongly recommend you to go through these things. There are many cool examples here, many prompt gallery items, right? You might have heard about Gemini seeing your screen. Well, this is that part, stream real time. You can showcase Gemini your screen. It will help you what's going on, etc. etc. You can open a camera, etc. Right? Again, not going into much depth of this. This all itself are a session of its own, but I will restrain to today's topic. But you can pause, screenshot so that you know what to visit after the talk if you're watching it live. Okay. So once you have the API key, right, close this. Right. Once you have cloned this, right, you can close this. Once you have cloned this, you can close this. Okay. Coming back to the slides. So I will just once put all the things in sequence in sync. So first entry point, as we see, the first QR code was for the Google form, right? Again, free stuff. We create this form. In the response, we we can set up, where the data would land. So we told, create a separate Google sheet, right? I don't think this requires much explanation. Most of you would have done this already in some other project. Okay. Next is Google Sheet. So data like this would generate, right? Won't go into details since it has a lot of data, right? So this is the kind of records it will generate. Okay. Then Google App Script. That's where the magic happens. Now, uh, those of you who have not ever used Google App Script, few things. First, always when you want to use Google App Script, the majority of use cases use your primary Google account that is logged into your Chrome or your browser. Right? If let's say for example, I have created this Google Sheet and form and everything in my secondary, third, fourth, any other account, it is not my primary account that is logged into my browser. You can see the same photo, right? Why I'm saying that? Because if you use any other account, then in that case, for a lot of users, I don't know why that happens, you won't be able to open Google Apps Script. Right? So that's a pro tip for you. Right? I have wasted a lot of time. A lot of people have wasted a lot of time. You can't find why online, but if this happens, this is the solution. Okay. Click on extensions when you're in a Google Sheet. Click on App Script. Right? Not App Sheet. Right? App Sheet is also something how you create an app, but we won't go there as most of the things in App Sheet is paid. So we'll go in App Script, right? We have programs. So this, when you click, it will open up this app script. Okay. So far, I think most of you, we have got simpler things. Right? It should be clear. Again, all of this code is available in that Gemini Google Sheet repo. This is the file, right? If you remember, there was just one file. This was that file. Right? So I'll go to the code part one by one. Right. So here, I'll just taken screenshots of that code. So here this JSON, this array of JSON, it contains the name of speaker, bio, LinkedIn, GitHub, Twitter, etc. Right? Over here. Then This is the next part. So the first part contains name of speakers, organizers, etc. Sorry. Next part. This is where your prompt goes. Right. You can write what you are doing, this, that. Right. So this is the prompt that we want to ask questions, etc. Then you will pass the user profile. Right? This is for the user who has, this will inject the data of the user who has filled the form, right? Then this is available mentors, what we saw over here. This will inject that data. Then provide recommendations following this exact JSON structure, right? Now, where we have created that JSON structure, I will show you. Right? This is where we are generating that response structure, right? It will be like mentor, and then it will get an object, it will have an array, and then again with our object, right? So we'll also need to provide the JSON structure. Since we are not using LangChain or something like that, if we don't provide a structure, then the output that it will give, we won't be able to parse it correctly on our web page. That's why the structure is important. Next, we have what we have also written that consider factors like skills and experience alignment, career goals, compatibility, industry experience, mentoring style preferences, etc. And return only valid JSON matching the schema above. That is this one, right? Again, why it's important? If it changes that, we won't be able to parse it. So no matter what data is generated, good, bad, ugly, we won't be able to showcase it. Fine. Right? It's a fairly simple code. Right? I won't go in detail of other parts. It's understood, self-understood. Like for example, this is like once you register on this one, you'll automatically get a mail that okay, you registered this, that, and you will have your link, everything. Just like a regular app. Right? We have done everything like one more tool that we have used in this, that is v0.dev. Now, what's v0.dev? Again, it's also a premium tool of Vercel, right? What you can do is you can use this tool to create code. Right? For example, this one. See, you can see, right? It is very similar to this one. This is how we created that page. We even use native AI to build this page, right? Not all components, because we know what kind of code Gemini can give fine and which kind of code Gemini won't work. So we used our existing knowledge. Okay? So again, if you have not used this tool earlier, pause this video, screenshot it, and open it up and start using it today. It's a very good tool and it's a free tool or resource. Next. So till now we are seeing Google Form that takes the input. You can say it's the input where the user gives. Google Sheet, it's like the database in our application. App script is like the, you can say, model view controller, right? If you are professional, you'll get what I mean by model view controller. I won't go into MVC and architectural patterns, but you can correlate that. form is the input, data sheet is the model, and app script is the controller. That's where all the logic is happening. Okay. Now, why we create a structure like this? Like, in the mail also, we are using a username or something, right? That's because we over here, we didn't wanted to do API call and fetch data from Google Sheet in that way. Right? We are doing it right now, but what we did was we created this repo, we hosted it. So that hosting is done. Now, based on this email, which is your username, unique username, since we have enabled form submission unique for one email. So using this email, what it will do is I can quickly do inspect and I'll show what it does. Okay, I think I need to share the window. Uh, okay, so I just inspected this, restarted. Okay, we'll go to the network tab and let's refresh this. Right. So the app got called, all the app details. If you go into the XHR or fetch, which is like an Ajax call. For people who are new, that you might not know what Ajax is, that's fine. This is the API call, get user info. Okay, this code is also there in the React repo that I have shared QR with. In that, what we send is the email that we fetch from the header, and in the response, we get all the details.
Hello, Shreyan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay. We have like 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I'll wind up in 10. Yeah, thanks for the
All right.
heads up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's how the structure is. Now, similarly, you can automate and create other apps for your workflows. I'll show you the examples. This example is the easiest one to, you can say, showcase. I will open the window once again. Okay, let's go back to slides. Right, also for deployment. Okay, we covered that. Okay, now regarding automations using LLMs, right, or automating automating modern workflows with LLMs, right? How I showed you, that's one simpler way. There are many ways to do things like this. For example, using this same approach, you can automate various basic tasks easily without using a framework like LangChain, LangGraph. I could have used LangChain in this, but the only catch is that in Google Sheet, in AppScript, there are limited number of libraries that you can add. Right? If you go, it's not a complete node app. If you understand what a node app is, right? It's not a complete node environment. You cannot add you cannot go there and do npm I. There are few library kind of things that they have made, but not the whole framework, right? If we use LangChain or something like that, then I would have to use some sort of server. Getting my point, why I use this was I wanted all the tools to be free for students who are attending this. Okay. If you want to try to automate things with lesser code, even lesser things, this is already very less code. You have not written any front end, right? So all just app script and you are done. Then if you want to write even lesser code, you can use tools like you know tools like Make or Zapier or NetN. And then from that you can use Gemini or ChatGPT module and automate your workflows. I will show you a few examples before we wrap up. Uh, think this is not visible. Just a second. Let me open up another one. For example, let's say mm, to reach. For example, let's say you open up Make. Again, why Make? Zapier is even better, but you won't get much things for free in Zapier. In Make, you can play around, wiggle around for a lot of free access, right? Freemium or free access. So let's say this is a very small workflow done over here, right? That is get inputs. Like you can select anything over here. Then once you get that input, and if you can see there's a clock over here, which is like cron job or a scheduled job. That every 15 minutes get inputs. Every 15 minutes get inputs. Like that. Take that and provide it to, in this case, it's not Gemini, it's some other product, right? People can recognize what this logo is, right? It's OpenAI, right? It passes it and then it goes to the same output, but the same thing. Let's say if it's Airtable, then taking the input from Airtable, parsing it, and re-putting that into the same Airtable or the different Airtable. Right? This way, you can completely automate many workflows. Let's say if you want using code, right? How I showed you. If you want to, let's say you are organizing a big event, right? Like a dev fest or a cloud community day. In that, if you receive, let's say, 1,000 entries, right? How do you potentially send out invitations, shortlist on like your attendees from that, and send invitations, right? So you could ask few questions, right? Based on that, subjectively, you can convert that answers to numbers. That is, rate out of 100 or 1,000, depending on how granular you want it to be. Right? Using Gemini, using AppScript. And once that is done, then when you want to roll out, you can write another AppScript function that can pick up the email and based on sorting from highest score to lowest score and start sending email automatically. Again, no cost involved, no much knowledge required, no setting it up on your system. That's again very classic and good part about this. That in Gemini, in Google Sheet App Script, you don't need to set up in your ecosystem. You don't need to install Node, Python, or anything in your laptop. You can do it on the browser. So that's the best part. As we are moving to the close, uh, few last things before we leave. If you see, I'll show you some output, not for everyone, but for some, I'll show the output columns. Wait. Earlier, when this was running, the output was not good for everyone. This is after that we created a batch process and we did that. Why? Why do you think the output was not that great or output was not there for everyone? because it's a zero shot or a single shot approach. By that, what we mean is we are not doing things like RAG, like retrieval augmented things. We are just taking the data, like speaker data that is static, user data, and the output schema, combining all of that and throwing it to Gemini with a prompt. Right? Doesn't have much context or much data than that. That's the reason why output quality won't be that great in this case. Of course, there are ways to do that. Uh, that is a little bit out of the scope for today's talk. One more thing to note, LLM also can be taught, right? So something like this, how you teach a kid, just like that, since LLMs, and depending on which model it is, if it's a very small model, you constantly need to teach it because it will forget the context in the next call. Right? It's not like Gemini or ChatGPT UI that will remain contain the context. So you constantly need to teach it. Okay, few other resources before we wrap up. Pause the video if you are watching it live, or pause the video. Scan this. This is a code lab provided by officially Google team for Gemini function calling. It's a very, very, very easy and well written page of document. It will take no more than 10-15 minutes of your time. So I would request everyone to, at least if you don't got anything from my session, few things that you can take away is this, the other resources, the repos, start it, clone it, tweak it, scan this, go and follow this. Just 15 minutes if you do this, because programming is like maths. You cannot read and understand. I mean, you can understand few concepts, right? But you know what I mean, right? You cannot before the exam go and read all the questions and go and solve it. You need to write it on your own. Just like that, I have shown you code, but you still need to do code it yourself to learn it actually, right? If that makes sense. So please, please, please go and do this. Even if you don't touch my code, that's fine. That's a step further than this. This is very basic, very easy. Right? This is how it looks, right? When you scan that. Okay, last few keywords. This is AI Google.dev. Here, Google team puts in a lot of good resources using for AI. So it's a must watch. Okay, last point. Right? Biggest thing people don't understand about generative AI, which I started my talk with, that it's not just about bots. Right? Even the topic, if we see automating modern workflows with LLMs, a lot of you might be thinking that it would be based on input that a bot would take and then it will automate. Right? Fine, that's a use case, right? But it's not completely about it. Right? It's about customization at end node. Yeah, I'm just commenting. Sorry, just commenting. Right? Again, customization at end node. If you want to take one thing from the session, take this. Okay. Okay, we're wrapping up. I strongly believe we're at a very good point in human life. We are seeing an inflection, and that's a wrap. Homework. I'm not a teacher, like a college professor, but please start using generative AI today. If you are not doing already, if you are doing or using a little bit, use generative AI today, tomorrow, and every day. I can't emphasize more on it. Do this for your career, not for me, not for the organizers. Do it for you. Right? You remember my words in the years to come. Thank you for inviting me here. Team Port uh, Haircut.
Thank you very much. Our time is basically up. Thank you very much, Shreya, for your amazing presentation, and I can assure you, this session will be shared with our community members. Thank you very much. It was an amazing session. There are some things I picked up actually, so I'm going to try them. So I'll be reaching out to you via LinkedIn for you to send me the links to these resources, so that while I'm sharing the video, attach the links to. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Joy. Our
Thank
time
you
will be
so much.
wrapping up very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Joy,
so
do you
much.
have any words? Yeah. Any question? Any question? We have just a minute, a few seconds, and the call will go up. Joy, do you have any contribution, questions? Chibueze, welcome. Do you have any question or contribution? Think a few seconds and okay, so since there are no questions, but I believe once we upload this videos to members of our communities, yeah, there will be questions, follow-up questions. So I think some of them would love to reach out to you. So while I'm posting this, I'm just taking a permission, taking necessary permission from you so that I can attach your LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so they can always reach out to you. All right, thank you very
Absolutely.
much. It was good having you on
Thank
this
you.
call. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you very
much.
much,
I
Joy.
hope
Thank you.
everyone would love some, would get something out of this. Thank you.
Sure. Very important. Okay, someone sent a chat. Let's see. Okay, said thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, guys. And okay, Chibueze, I can get that. Thank you very much. It was amazing having you, and I'll surely reach out to you some other time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Okay, it's bye from me here. All right, bye.